So, welcome everyone to this workshop, which is conducted by Chemistry with Code. And you can follow us on Chemistry with Code to keep yourself updated with the workshops that we conduct. So today's workshop is on setting up of the environment for coding in chemistry with Python. I'm the organizer for this workshop, and I'm Vinayak. I'm a graduate student in the University of Kentucky, and my research is mostly on computational chemistry, and I use Python like in everyday research of mine. So let's dive into what we'll be doing today. So for this workshop, you would need Anaconda or Miniconda installation. So I'd sent you the links so you could use that if you want your session to be interactive, or you can just sit down and relax and watch as I work. And if you have any questions, then you can just ask me. So we'll have Anaconda and Miniconda. That'll be need Anaconda or Miniconda that you would need, and PyCharm IDE, so that you can get a sense of how we develop code in like a real development process. So so let's go on to what Anaconda does. So Anaconda is an open source package management system. So this creates a system where you can have different packages, and it creates an environment for each package that you want to install. So what it does is it avoids conflicts. So if you install maybe a Python package that requires some version of another package, but if you want to install the another package that has a dependency which is very different. For example, let me say if you want to install a RDKit software, and that's what we are going to install. So RDKit is for manipulating molecules in chemistry, and you can find out various things about a molecule, generate conformations, and find descriptors like what is the volume, what is the molecular weight, how many atoms you have in the molecule, and all of that. So if you have that, and that may need one version of Matplotlib, that is a plotting software. And if you install something else, maybe PyMatGen, that we are going to see how to install it, that's for periodic systems or inorganic materials, that may require a different version of Matplotlib, which is the plotting software. So you can't have both RDKit and PyMatGen installed at the same time because they need different versions of PyMatGen. So this Conda environment helps you to manage that. So it'll create one environment where you have PyMatGen and its Matplotlib, and it'll create a different environment where you can install RDKit and then have PyMatGen over there. Oh, sorry, the Matplotlib over there. Does this sound confusing? If it does, do let me know in the chat. If you have any questions, again, let me know in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let me know. So the main reason is to avoid conflicts of packages. And then we have we need an environment to develop packages once you have something. And in that case, we would use PyMatGen. And this would help us to debug. I'll show you what debugging is and how to manage your package that you have. So it'll also help in pushing things to GitHub so that you can have a repository which is created for your package. But in this workshop, we won't go that far. I'll just show you the basic things that you can do with PyCharm, and that'll be most probably what we will be doing in this. Can you speak up? I can't. I think that's someone speaking. If it is intentional, could you speak up so that I can? Okay, so back to what we'll be doing in this workshop. At first, we'll create Conda environments, and I'll show you how to create Conda environments. And then we'll install these two things, RDKit and PyMatch. And those are the chemistry softwares. And then I'll show you how to use it using PyCharm, because that's what we are going to do. And we'll also show you how we can save environments and export it to other people, so other people can use the same environment that you use and run the code that you have. So any questions so far? Okay. So if you don't have any questions, let me move on to showing you actual things now. Stop sharing. So at first, hope you can see my screen. Can you see my browser?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so at first we'll try to install Anaconda. I'll just show you how it is done, but I have already installed. So if you want to install Anaconda, you can just click on install, and then you'll get Anaconda installation. You can download it, and this is for all platforms. You can use it on Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. So once you install that, we'll install PyCharm for this workshop. And Anaconda comes with its own IDE, which is called Spider. But we'll use more professional one, which is PyCharm. So if you go to install PyCharm, you'll get this download PyCharm package. And you can download the community version, which is free. But if you are in academia and you have an academic email ID, then you can download the professional version for free, and you can click on download, but do register with your academic ID on this website, and then you'll be able to download the professional version for free. But over here, I'm downloading the community version, which is for free, and I'll show you how to use the community version. So once it is installed, let's start with Anaconda first. And I would not be using the Jupyter notebook and navigator and all that stuff that comes with Anaconda, but we'll start with Anaconda prompt. And our idea over here is to start creating environments with Conda. So the first thing that you would see is this this thing in the parentheses. Can you see a black screen with some prompt? If yes, do let me know so that. Yeah, cool.
Yes, we can see it.
So yeah, so it doesn't matter which system you are using, Linux OS, Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. You will have some prompt here, and before that prompt, you will have a thing which will be called base. If Conda is successfully installed in any of those, you'll say a base. So these are the environment that Conda creates, and you can have different packages installed in these environments. And if you want to know which package is installed in a particular environment, you can just say Conda and list. So it will show you the packages that are installed in this environment, which is now called base, and base is the default environment that it creates. So you see there are a lot of packages that are already installed in that. But we want to install our own set of packages, and we don't want to conflict with the things that it has already installed. So what we would do is we start creating our own environment. So the first step to create an environment is to give it a name, right? So here we called it base. So let me call it Conda. We would create and then you will give a name, which is -n. So let me just show you. So if you type in Conda create -n, it will show you all the things that you would need to use over here. So we'll be using create environment. So we'll be using name for that. So it will show you how to create it at the end. So example, Conda create -n, and this thing is your name, and this thing is your package that you want to install. So we'll start with just the name that we want. So let's call it a test environment. Conda create, or maybe let's call it chemistry. So it's creating an environment called chemistry, and the N is for telling which what you're going to call it. So it'll say this, and if you scroll down, it'll say it's going to create environment which is called chemistry, and this is the location of that environment. So all your files and everything that you load will be in that environment. So proceed is yes. So in the end, you should see something like this, which says to activate this environment, you say Conda activate chemistry. To deactivate, so Conda deactivate. Way to access. So there's a question in the chat which says, is there a way to access the recording of this session afterwards? Yes, there's definitely. So this Zoom meeting is being recorded, and it'll be posted onto the Chemistry with Code channel on YouTube. So you can always watch the recording over there. So let's go. Let's try to activate this environment. So Conda activate chemistry. So this is how you activate the environment. That means you are now switching environments, and let's see what we have in chemistry. So just note this, you have base at the beginning, and now when we say chemistry, it turns to chemistry. And there's a change in an environment. So if I look at Conda list, so Conda list is going to list all the packages that we have in there. So if you remember before, when we had some packages, it was a big list of packages that you could see that were there in the base environment. But we don't have any of the packages installed yet. So if we list it, we should not show any packages, right? So now we have a very clean environment which has nothing installed in it. So if you create an environment like this, you'll definitely need to install Python. Okay. So any questions about creating environments so far, or something that you want to know about the creating environments? Okay. I don't see any questions or anything. Okay, cool. So let's go on and install packages now. The first thing to install is Python itself. So let's say Conda install Python. Okay. So it'll install a particular version of Python that you have. It'll probably install the latest version of Python, but let's see what it does. Okay. So Conda install Python. It's going to install. You'll see all these packages will be installed now, and it'll ask me whether I should proceed yes or no. I'll say yes. And then it should install all those packages that you see here, which include Python, which is it's 3.10 that is being installed. And these are all subsidiary packages that you would need. So once the environment has Python installed, we'll see when we say Conda list, all the packages showing up over there. It's taking more time than expected. Done. So now if we look at Conda list, And this is again a command to look for all packages installed in Conda. You'll see that earlier we didn't have anything. Now you see some Python packages installed. So, and this is how we install packages on using Conda. And let me show you something else. So let's install, and then okay. So as I said, we'll try to install RDKit. So RDKit is one of the software that we use for looking at Chemoinformatics, you could say, or all of that. So we have created a Conda environment, and this is a Conda. This is something similar that we have done. So we have used Conda create -n, but we'll just jump into how to install install this. So it says to build Conda. So we already have installed all of this. So we have Conda installation, but it needs NumPy and Matplotlib. So we would need to install all of these. So we could either install all of that, or let's see whether they have another installation for Conda. So yeah, so you could just use install -c. Okay. So let's just install RDKit. I thought they had a proper definition over here, but let's try to do that. So it's Conda install RDKit. So hopefully this works. So let's see. So it says there's no these are some of the problems that you'll see, and I'll tell you how to debug that. Okay, so if you see something like this, okay, sometimes you'll say Conda something and it'll be like, okay, your current channels are these things. So what it's trying to do when you say Conda install is it's going to one of these locations and then trying to fetch the package. So if you go to these locations, you will see the repo anaconda.com. You'll see there are those packages that are there, and it just tries to pull it from there. But now the problem is the RDKit package that you want to install is not on any of these repos. So that is some problem you will find when installing packages. So how to deal with that problem is if you go back to this. So if you see Conda create, there's a thing which is called -c, Conda forge. Okay, so this -c is for channels, and this is the channel from which we want to pull our RDKit. But by default, this channel is not present in the list of channels that you see here. So the current channels are just Anaconda, Anaconda, Anaconda. But now you need to use this channel, which is Conda Forge. So if we add -c Conda Forge while pulling environment, Conda C, we'll do this, and then hopefully it should pull the package. So this is these are some of the things that you'll face, and sometimes you can't just pull things from here because it's only the Conda Forge RDKit. Is not going for version. This is interesting. Let's see if it should install, but I've never tried it on Windows before. Maybe Windows thing, but it should install. If not, we'll just move on to PyCharm. But this is the thing that I wanted to show you, which is if you fail to install from something, and if you see a error, which is it's still installing. If you see a error which says could not find in that particular repository, all you need to do is you forgot the channel flag. So from which channel you want to pull it. Yeah. Okay. Conda Forge. Okay. Now you see that because I requested Conda Forge, it added Conda Forge to that list, and it'll try to install it from there, but it was not successful. But anyway, we can install RDKit. We can just skip the installation of RDKit and probably go to the next installation, which should be probably easy to do. But let's see. So we'll try to install PyCharm. And PyCharm is installed. You can have a Conda based installation for PyCharm, and you see the command is almost similar, where you use Conda install -- channel. Conda Forge is from where you want to pull it, and then PyCharm. So I'll just use this command to do it, but I already have Conda Forge over here. So as a proof of concept, yeah. So we can just install Conda. Hopefully this works. Okay, so it tried to get it. It's done almost. Should download the package, and there'll be a lot of packages to be installed with this. So it'll come with all of those packages. So yeah, these are the channels that you need to keep in mind when you are installing. So if you have some other channel, it will probably be, it needs to be added to see what's happening. So those were some errors that you will face when installing any package. So this is with Conda. There's another way to install packages, which is called pip. And if you have Anaconda installed, you can install packages with both of those. You can either say pip install or Conda install. It doesn't matter a lot, but as long as you have your environment activated, all the packages will be installed in this environment. Have tested this before, but let's just install pip install mat. So NumPy is a package that that uses that is used for matrix multi operations. So if I say pip install NumPy, it should install it should install NumPy. At least this should work. The other problems I think are usually with the Python. So you see, it's installing that, and it knows which one to take, and then it'll install that version of NumPy. So this is how it should look when you install something. It says successfully installed. So let me change my Python. Right now the Python version is okay. So you can look at Conda list. You want to look at a particular version of thing which is installed, you can say Conda list Python, and it says 3.10. Let me just downgrade it. And so if you want to downgrade something, so you'll say Conda, you can just type in Conda install and Python. So that will install the latest version of Python. But if you want some old version or some particular version, all of them will have this version along with it. So you can type in equals equals and then say which version you want. So let me pull in 3.8. Okay, 3.8 is a version, and I don't want 3.10. I think that is somehow creating problems for installation. So I'll just show you how to use downgrade or upgrade a package. So if I do that, so it'll tell me it's going to use, you'll see the changes that it's making. It's going from 3.10 to 3.8. And these are the things that you would need to do sometimes, because one of your package is not compatible with the version that you install. So now it's downloading 3.8. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully after this, I should be able to install PyCharm, or at least RDKit. So any questions so far? Something that you did not understand or just want some clarification over? Okay. So hopefully that is done. So if I look for Conda list Python, now it should say 3.8. So versions are very important, and that's what all of this is about. So you need to control versions, and then you have some concepts. So let me try to install RDKit now. There you go. You see, the problem was with Python. So so you'll see these are the packages that we'll try to install and all of that. It's something similar to install Python that we did, but proceed is yes. And then it'll try to install all of that. So let's try to install this and even PyCharm, and it should work. And I'll show you some examples of how to use it in the next half an hour. I'll just stop with the RDKit, I think. So once it is installed, you'll have, let's see.
Sorry, which one are you installing now?
So right now I'm trying to install RDKit. So RDKit, earlier I had a problem of installing RDKit, because I can show you how I figured out the problem was with installation of RDKit. Okay, so these are some things that will show you. So if you look at, okay, let this finish. So I was not able to install RDKit or PyCharm before, and the problem was with the Python that I had, and somehow the Conda is not updated. Let me see whether I can reach there. So okay, so where was that? Okay, so if you look at the error that I got earlier, was the following packages are not available from current channels. It says Python 3.1, but it's actually 3.10, but somehow it's not able to take that thing into account. So it says Python not found. So that was the reason why my packages earlier were not being installed. So what I did then was I had, let me scroll up. It's moving too fast. But I had to downgrade it so that I know, okay, that's the error, when I downgraded it to Python 3.8. You could even do Python 3.9 if you want. But to be on the safer side, I put 3.8, and then it tries to pull things. And that worked. So it will show you errors, what you have. Sometimes at first you saw that it said channel not found. It's not on the channel. So, okay, you need to add channels. And now the error was with Python. So you'll see it links. So that's how I figured out we need a different version of Python.
Okay.
So
yeah, because
this will be.
I had the same message. So yeah, probably was the same.
So I think that's a Conda issue, because 3.10 is the latest version and very, very latest version of Python. So that was the thing that was there. But with that, I got to explain how you can install different versions. So if you put in a Python equals 3.8 while installation, you'll get the 3.8 version. So depending on which version you want, you can say, okay, I want that version of particular package. So that works for any package, not just for Python.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So this should be done. So you can see all packages installed, and if you list packages, you'll get a bunch of them over here. But I want to see if RDKit is installed. So I'll say list RDKit, and it should show me which version of RDKit is there. Okay. So we have successfully installed RDKit, and if you want, we can install PyMed Gen 2, but I won't take that much of time to show you how to do that. But let's do some interesting coding now. Okay. So that's what this is all about. So the first thing is to set up your environment and to have all the packages that you need to actually run a code. Okay. So now, if you want to start Python, you can start it from here itself. Okay. And this version of Python is called command line version. And because this is a command line and you're trying to type it in here. And you can do stuff like import packages. So you can, this is a way of importing something. So these are the packages that you just loaded. Okay. So import RDKit if you want to say. So it should import RDKit. Okay. So RDKit should have something in it. I don't know whether it'll show up. So it has RDKit imported. So it does things, but the thing is you can't do complicated things like multiple lines of code or define a function. It's really difficult to do it over here, but it still works. So if I say import math is a library, it is by default there. So if I say math dot sqrt, square root is a function and square root of 4, it works. Okay, but the thing is it is just one line of thing, and this is called a command line interpreter. Interpreter is, it interprets your code and puts the output right away. You're not writing a big code and then executing it. Okay, so there's no debugging. If you want to debug your code, you can't do that, and it's not so easy to write. And that's where PyCharm comes in. Okay, so let's exit this. So we have the environment, which is chemistry, and now let's use this thing that we did in more easy to use platform. So I look for PyCharm. So there we go. Can you still see my screen? The black screen?
Yes, the terminal is on.
Yeah. Okay. So now can you see the PyCharm window on top of that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks. So this is PyCharm, and this is how it looks when you install. And this is a very clean version. There's nothing inside this. And this is just to demonstrate how to do things from now. Okay. So there are all plugins and other things that you can look at, but I'll probably, so I'll create a new project, and that's how we would create. And when it asks for location, you can say, I'll say test project probably, whatever I want, and you can select location and do all that stuff. So this is where the thing comes in. So it says Python interpreter, previously configured interpreter. So either you can have a new environment created from here saying which thing you want. It'll create an environment for you. But if we have already made an environment which is called chemistry, so I can just use that environment here and then say, it says it's not able to find anything, any interpreters. So you can click on this button and it will show you a list of interpreters that you can use. So virtual environment is something similar to Conda, but it's a different way of doing it. Okay. So even Conda virtual environment is a way of managing packages. But over here, we'll use the Conda version. And you can see Python is already in there. Okay. So sorry, the chemistry version. So envs is the environment, and whatever you see after that is the name of the environment. Okay. So envs chemistry, and if you see here, it's chemistry. So this is the environment that we have. Okay. And then I'm say, okay, I can use that environment right now. And it'll say it's updating, and you see, okay, we are using this environment, and we'll say create. So what happens if you don't use that environment? It would be one question. What happens is you don't have any of the packages that we installed. So that's the only thing. You would need to create an environment or start it again or something like that. So that is the thing. And once it is installed, first thing it tries to do is all of these tips and other things which you can explore. But I'll show you the basic things that one could do with this. So next, let me close this. So you'll see that it is indexing. So it'll try to get all packages in here. And in the meantime, let me just change. It looks more. Okay. So Python 3.8 is the environment. So you can always click on the environment that you see at the bottom. And so you can go to maybe interpreter settings. If you go to the settings tab, always, you'll see all the packages that are installed over here. Okay. The same thing as Conda list that you did. You can see all packages that are installed, and you'll probably see RDKit somewhere that we installed. There you go, RDKit. And you can change environments from here if you want. And if you create a different environment, you can access it here, and then probably add that environment to this environment and then load that environment. So all you would need to do is just click on the environment that is shown and then go to interpreter settings. And you will see all the Conda environments that you created in here, and then select one of the environments that you want. And that should give you everything that you need to code. So let's start with things that you can do here. Okay. So first is the project, and all the code that is written for a project will be within this project folder. And within the project folder, you can create a folder if you want, or a file. So I can create a folder which is called test folder. If you want, and it'll create a folder within that, or you can just create let's click on this and create a new file, and this is called hello world. Okay. So it's a Python file. It'll give you all these options of what type of file you want to create, and that's some simplicity that you will see in all of that. Okay. So you can create a file. So this part over here is editor. So you can type in your code here that we did. So import math, and this is the beauty of this, right? So as you type in, you see all these things appear. So whether you want to import CMath or you want to import math. So it'll give you that option of doing things. And let me see. Okay, so the other packages that are there. So there's matplotlib that is installed. There's multiprocessing that is installed. So you can select from those packages. And this is where IDE really helps. So if you look back at what we did in the terminal, it was import math. Unless you know there's math package, you could not import it. So let me see, import RDKit. You see there's RDKit in there. So I can import RDKit, and from RDKit, there are many things that you can import. So there's a package which is Python and all of that, but yeah. So there are many things that you can get from here. And so this is the editor part of it. Okay, so I can just say import math, and then I'll say a is equal to 4, and then event math dot square root. So you can, if you see this, you'll know all the functions that are available in math. So if you say math dot, you'll see all of them in here, and we can just click on that. But on top, it'll also show you what it needs. So it says supports float. So fmod, let me go with the square root function. So it'll need a float value over there. So I'll say A. And if I do that, this is where you edit it. Okay, it's not going to run the code for you. And to run the code, there'll be something at the bottom that will pop up by default. I'll show you how it's done, but let it update the skeleton here. So I'll show you how to run this code. But if you want to test a part of the code, whether this function really works, what you could do is go to Python console. Okay, so if you click on Python console, you'll see something similar to that, something similar to that what we did before. So okay, so if you just type in things, it'll give you output, and you'll know, okay, that thing really works or that thing doesn't work. Okay, so if you want that flexibility of just typing in code and seeing answers, you can definitely do that with this Python console. Okay, it works same as the command line, but it's you can just restart it if you want. If there are some changes that you need to know, okay, just restart it. You can stop this if you want over here, or again restart it, and that can be done with this, the Python console part. Okay, so any questions so far on this, how it looks? So yeah, so let's see. So some advantage of this console is if you set up a equal to 4, you'll see that over here. Okay, you'll say a is equal to 4 is an integer that you have created. So if you import math and then say math, so it will show any variables that you have. So b is equal to math dot square root of 4. It will show b is float 2.0. So all variables that you have created will show up here, and that's something good about this is you have the variables in there, and you can always see what variables are there and how to use them. Okay. So okay, so we don't see any of those blue lines, meaning Conda package is read by Python, and we can run this code. So in order to run this code, what we would do is go to run, and there's run, and we will just say run, and it'll ask you which code to run. So right now it's called hello world.py, so it'll be hello world, and we can run that code. And as you see, we printed square root, and then it printed 2. And if you just want square root is, so you can just say something like this, the square root is math dot out, and then you can either run it from here again, run hello world, or it'll show you options to run it from here. Okay, run hello world, and it prints the square root is 2. Okay, and if you have a different file in here that you created, let me just create a different Python file, which is called file 2, and I'll just have print this is file 2. Okay, so something to be thinking about this is if you're going to run this again, okay, it's going to always run hello world for you. It's not going to run file 2. Though you're on file 2, the configuration over here is just hello world. Okay, so if you run this, you'll always see that the output that you see here in the run is square root is 2, because it's not running the this file. So you need to add it to the configuration again. So you'll just say run, and now you see those things that you can run, and now you'll say, okay, I need to add file 2, and now this is file 2. So you can run file 2, this is file 2, and now if you say, okay, I need to run hello world, so you'll get the drop down of options. So let's say, okay, I need hello world, and run hello world. Okay, so this is where all of this comes in handy, and you can just code whatever you want in this. And for just a chemistry version of it, let's say we import, so from rdkit.chem import from RDKit. Let's do this. So RDKit is a package, and if you want to know more about this this stuff, there's a workshop video on YouTube which is called Advanced Intermediate Chemistry for Python. So in which we discuss how to use this. So we have a package which is called chem library that is imported from RDKit. And what that does is create a molecule. Let's create a molecule which is from smiles. Okay. Mol from smiles. So smiles is something like a string representation of a molecule. So if you say C, it means it's a methane. Okay. So I'll just create a methane molecule over here. And there's the methane that is created. And so from, I'll just even draw the molecule. RDKit.chem dot moles to. So these are some of the functions that you can import, and if you want to know more, I'll show you how it's how you can find out more about these functions. Okay. So so I want to draw something now. So let's say moles to grid. So this is some beauty of this thing. So it says moles to grid image. It shows you some things about that. Okay, it tells you moles. It needs something called moles per grid. But let's say you don't know how to do all of that. Okay, so if you just hover over it, it'll show all of that. It need moles, and it's something is length, and moles per row is something, and it needs all of this to be passed in. And suppose you don't know what the function is. Okay, sometimes this smile thing, if you want to look at the actual code of this function, let me see whether we get the code. Okay, there you go. So if you want to know how that's coded, what you could do is just click on the thing that you want to know. Okay, and press Control B, or you can, okay, so you can just right click on that and go to, so if you say go to, it will go to multiple things. So one is declaration or usages or navigation bar. So what we're interested in is the declaration of that. So how the code for that is written. So this PyCharm IDE is very helpful, or any of the IDE is very helpful in that case. So you can just go to the code of that and it'll show, okay, it needs moles, it needs something, and it needs all those images and legends and everything. So sometimes if you don't get the code that is needed, how to write it, you can just press, you can just go to that function and see how to use it. Okay, let's see smiles, for instance. So if I want to click on that, go to, and go to declaration or usages of that, you'll see that it needs some object and something. So the arguments for this is what you need. So arguments are the ones that you pass in, and the return is what it puts out. So argument, it says smile, it needs a smile string, and we pass in a smile string. So this should work. And moles to grid image, I'll pass mole. And I think image is mole to grid image of mole. Show, I think. Let's see whether this works. Okay. So I'm creating a molecule and then creating an image for that molecule, and then let's see. So this is file 2, whether it works or not. Hopefully it does. There you go. It's CH4. Okay, because we put in methane over there. So now if we go to change the CCCC, it's something, it's hexane in there. So if I run this, there is a hexane molecule. Okay. So this is just a proof of concept that you can look at things and you can decide how to work with that function. And that's where all these IDEs and other things help. And if you want to look at all the things that it can do, you can just say go to and declaration or usages. So it will see where that is declared. So image was declared here, so it shows image declaration at the top itself. So yeah, so you can do fun things with the RDKit, and if you have that mole, so So you can calculate molecular volume and other things with that. So chem.rd descriptors. Yeah, so there are multiple things that you can do, but for that I would encourage you to look at the advanced tutorial, the intermediate tutorial on YouTube. But this is just to show you how to use all of these tools to generate code that is so to manage things, how you can write your own code. And if you don't know some definitions, how IDEs can help you to know how to go to declaration or usages and look at the code and then estimate what you need for that thing to work. And about installation of packages and maintaining them, you can do it from here. So let me show you one common error and then probably we'll wrap it up. Okay. So if you want, we didn't install PyMatGen. Okay. So if we say import PyMatGen over here, it'll say no module named PyMatGen found. Okay. So these are some things that you'll get a hint of saying that, okay, oops, I did actually on the wrong side. So these are some of the hints that will tell you that you need to install this package. So either you can go back over there or something. This is the terminal. This is the same terminal that you see over there. I think it's not the same, but yeah. So you can go back and install packages. And over here, you can install PyMatGen that needs to be done. And you can go back to the environment that we created here and then type in pip install PyMatGen and it should install PyMatGen. And then we reload this and then it should show you that it works. Okay. So any questions on any of these files? And something I'll just add is if you look at any of these definitions, so it'll always go to this this thing called chem.draw and it will show you all the things that are available in there. And these are the things that you would use. Okay, so I used draw from this. And then, yeah, so you can just look at the code that people have written for that thing and just modify it or do whatever you want with that code. But just to write a code, you need to understand how it's written. So any questions? Any questions on how to set it up or something you didn't understand? So you can always click on structure and see what is created. But yeah. I'll go ahead and stop the recording, I think. So if there are no questions on this, I would encourage you to complete this survey so that you can give me feedback on what it is. I shared the link on the in the chat. So do let me know what you think about it. And yeah, let me go ahead and stop the recording.